Hello, and welcome to Moms for Book Liberty,
the podcast where a couple of moms fight back against groups trying to control what our kids can read.
with each episode focusing on a specific book that has found itself on the chopping block of censorship. Hello, and welcome to Moms for Book Liberty, the Junior Edition,
where we start reading picture books.
Yeah, that's all we do. We read picture books instead of, novels, and they're, what would you say, Jennifer, for like elementary school kids?
Yeah, young age children.
Yeah.
These would be good bedtime stories.
Totally.
Small 5-minute, 10-minute books.
Yeah, and what I love most about it is like this is a book that you can read to kindergartners, but also to like 5th graders.
Yeah, I read this one to my 4th and 5th grader, and they really liked it.
Yeah.
It was a great bedtime story.
And if I remember back to when I was in elementary school, I loved, even as like a 10-year-old, still like sitting in a circle on the, circle time rug and having my teacher just like read to me.
Yeah, no, kids love that.
Yeah. So yeah, the book we're going to read, or not read, but we're going to talk a lot about it today is called Chik Chak Shabbat by, who's it by?
It's by Mara Rockliff, and it's illustrated by Kirsten Brooker.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's a great book, but it's really sad that we have to sit here and do a podcast about like, why are we doing a podcast about this book? Well, in Jacksonville, which is Duval County, this book was pulled from the shelf?
It was pulled from the shelves for 15 months, I believe.
So over a year, this book had, it had a chance to be read by students for, 15 months was taken away from those students to be able to read it.
Right. And supposedly it was while they were evaluating if it was within the new laws that Governor DeSantis passed.
The anti-woke laws?
Yes.
Oh. So Chik Chak Shabbat, the title kind of sounds like it might be woke because what? It's not Christian?
No.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's too ethnic, I guess.
Yeah, it's too ethnic. So there you go. It violates the anti-woke law. But really, it's a great book.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like such a sweet story. I read it and I could not figure out why it was pulled from shelves. There's nothing in it that discusses racism. It doesn't discuss nothing that would, set
alarm bells for the anti-woke bill. And even if, and we're definitely going to discuss picture books that do discuss racism.
Right.
But this isn't even one of them. It's about food.
Yeah, it's just about
delicious food
and community and,
Yeah, helping your neighbor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing scandalous.
But so this was like one of, I don't know, how many books in the diversity, equity, and inclusion?
They removed 179 books from their shelves.
Because of DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, right?
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we can't have that on the shelves. We can't have kids, feeling represented in class. That's not a good thing, I guess.
That reminds me. So I was on TikTok, of course, and when I was supposed to be, I don't know, cleaning my house or something, but someone sent me this funny TikTok of this guy who's like, I think he goes undercover to Moms for Liberty events, and he just
I love him. I think I know what you're talking about.
You may have seen this one. So he has this microphone. He's like interviewing Moms for Liberty, and he's just like, so, what's going on in your schools that you're so upset about? And she's like, well, they're trying to teach my kids, about their feelings. And he just looks at her. He's like, their feelings. And she's like, yeah, can you believe that? They even taught my kids the word empathy. And he just like deadpans the camera.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, how dare they teach your kids about empathy? I'm sorry, how is that a bad word?
And that she said that out loud.
Yeah. And she's not picking up that he's just like, he's like giving her all these little tidbits to like realize that she's sounding kind of, ridiculous, and she's just not picking up on it. Yeah. But this is the the junior edition. So we encourage kids to listen to this episode. We promise we're going to be on our best behavior. And our kids have a lot of empathy, and I think it's because they read.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not just stories that reflect them, but reflect other people.
Exactly.
And I think that's really important. This was so cute. The story has different cultures coming together. Mm-hmm. There's community helping each other out, caring for others. Mm-hmm. I cannot understand what would take them 15 months to decide.
And I think there was so much pressure Right. So Duval is a huge district here in Florida. It's Jacksonville, go Jaguars, whatever. But, there was so much pressure on the decision on Duval Public Schools decision to like take these books out of schools. And so much pressure that our governor and the education guy, what's his name?
Oh, gosh.
Dan,
I don't know.
no.
I'm not good with names.
Well, the head education guy, I'll remember it later. But anyway, they had to give a interview or basically release a statement saying what happened. So, and then you can go to this website. Was it PEN America? Oh yeah, Manny Diaz, Jr. Yeah. So the commissioner for education in the state of Florida had to release a statement basically saying, now calm down, this isn't true. And basically gaslighting people and saying, well, you're just believing the first thing you hear. And so PEN America, was that the website?
Yes,
PEN America has this whole website of they're, debunking everything that they're saying. Is this, they said this, how true is this? Right. And so, it's a little bit true, or it's not at all true, or whatever. But,
and they actually, DeSantis put out a whole fact check, trying to fact check what PEN America was calling them out on.
No.
Yeah.
It was he fact checked them for fact checking him.
Yes.
Hold on, this is getting too confusing. It's a book, guys. Shouldn't we be spending our time and our money and our resources on things that are important and that matter, like protecting our students from actual dangers, which we won't get into because this is the junior edition. Right. But yeah, it's a huge waste of time. It's
just grandstanding on their part. They're just trying to win points, I guess. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're just ruining our kids' education.
And there were so many other books. I don't know how we ended up choosing this one. I think it was just again, it was a TikTok video that I saw, and they were like, "Can you believe this? This is a book about food, and here it is being banned." So I think that's why we chose it. Was it's just kind of being clumped in with all these other books that it's it's one of those games where it's what do they all have in common, right? And I can't find one single commonality, but what I can find is what they don't have in common, right? And it's not white.
That's pretty much it.
It's not heterosexual. It's not Christian. I think, if it's a book that sort of veers away from those things, then it's got a red flag on it.
Right.
So
it's an immediate red flag for them.
Yeah. But, it is back on the shelves in Duval, right? After 15 months.
15 months. And pressure from the
community. And TikTok. Thank you, TikTok. But, I just can't stop thinking about, just imagine, just a Jewish elementary school student who I'm sure heard of this somehow, right? What do you think they think, or how do you think they feel about a book about, their religion and their culture and their identity? How do you think they feel about this book being banned for 15 months?
Oh, I'm sure they feel, already the Jewish community faces so much racism. Not racism.
Discrimination. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's just one more way to discriminate against them.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a kid who you're still developing, you're building your confidence, you're still figuring out your identity and who you are, to have this book being taken off, is just, especially in a district where Duval is 70% students of color. Right. So, it's just, I just can't stop thinking about how those kids feel. And then there was another book I just saw was Dim Sum for Everyone.
Yeah, there's a lot of books about food.
Yeah,
that they seem to have an issue with.
Have you had dim sum? It's so good.
I don't know why they're against.
But if you're a child of Asian culture and you hear dim sum for everyone, this is bad. That's a terrible message to be sending to our kids. It's even for books that feature gay characters, it's not bad to be gay.
Right, it's okay. It's okay to say gay.
Yeah, and, it's okay to eat cholent and to talk about it. So cholent is the soup, right?
Yeah, it's a soup that they eat on the Sabbath.
Okay, and the Sabbath, for those of you that don't know, is on a Saturday. See, we're learning. So, I'll have to admit, I don't know a lot about, Judaism, right? But even this book taught me a lot, about cholent. I didn't know what cholent was.
I grew up in a large Jewish community. Mm-hmm. So I remember matzo ball soup. I used to love eating it. Because my mom used to be a housekeeper, and most of her clients were Jewish, so they always would send home matzah soup. I loved it. But I don't remember ever hearing about cholent, so this was new to me.
One other thing I learned about when researching this book is that not the book, but cholent is actually responsible for Boston baked beans.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So, what commercial? Is it
That's
the one
with the dog, right?
Yeah. Isn't it like the Golden Retriever?
He's always trying to like sell the secret or like tell.
Yeah. The secret is apparently cholent.
Apparently. Now we know.
Yeah. So, I guess because the history of cholent goes back some time, and it's it's a bean-based dish, I guess. So, Boston baked beans owe their beginnings to cholent.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And
I'm dying to try cholent because at the end of the book there's the recipe. The grandmother's recipe.
Yeah.
And so the kids, when I read it with the kids, they were like, "Can we make it?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I have it saved, but I haven't made it yet. But I'm dying to.
So go out and buy this book just so that you can have the recipe.
Yes.
And make the recipe. It's super short. It's like we read it together. It's like a 6-minute read.
Yeah.
And the pictures are adorable. But I don't know. Do you want to just jump into the book?
Sure.
So the main character's name is Goldie Simha?
Simha.
Simha. I think that's how you pronounce her last name.
I'm not the greatest with pronunciations of names.
Well, I'm sorry. What's your maiden name?
Valle.
See, and when I first met you on Facebook, I'm like, I have this new friend. Her name's Jennifer Val.
Well, and growing up, I would say Valley because it would just be easier for everyone.
Yeah, but it's
then they would add a Y.
Yeah, so, but it's Valle.
Valle.
Yeah, and is that Venezuelan?
No, I'm Guatemalan.
Guatemalan. I don't know where I got.
Venezuelan.
See, I didn't make it up. I knew there was Venezuelan.
You're close.
So anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Goldie Simha because we were listening to the YouTube.
Yes.
And that's how they pronounced it. So. So she's a Jewish grandmother, right? And they live in an apartment complex. And every Friday she makes cholent. Is that right?
Every Friday night she starts, because it takes at least a day, and better if it's done overnight, to prepare and cook cholent. So I'm not sure when they start smelling it, if it's Saturday or
I think in the book, the neighbors in the apartment complex, they start smelling it on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's called Chik Chak Shabbat because Chik Chak means
hurry up
in Hebrew.
Yeah.
So she's, it's like hurry up and get the cholent on Friday so that we can enjoy it and relax and rest on Saturday.
Yes.
Because Saturday is that Shabbat?
Shabbat, yeah.
Yeah. And I
said Sabbath earlier. Shabbat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if those two are interchangeable. They might be.
But I'm not sure either.
Yeah. See, we're learning. We don't know.
But it's like their day of rest.
Yes, Shabbat is Saturday. It's the day of rest. Yeah. See, we're getting it. So throughout the whole book, Goldie says, it feels like Shabbat. Cholent feels like Shabbat, right?
And then all the neighbors show up on Saturday
to eat. Yeah, usually. Yeah. So usually they show every Saturday. So that's so cool. It's like this little, apartment family.
But then, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just think I almost like want to live in an area where your neighbors come over for dinner.
And it's nice because I have a neighbor like that. For Easter, they put out Easter eggs for kids.
That is
send me a text, let them know. They cut my grass.
Yeah.
They're just the sweetest people. And it's not all our neighbors. It's just these specific neighbors.
Yeah.
But we adore them. Like, the kids are like, those are like our grandparents. We adore. So that's nice to have.
Yeah, I feel like it changed over COVID, though, unfortunately. Because, our neighbor, we had a holiday or a party for every holiday. So, the last big party we had was, he's fine. We have Jennifer's pit bull here named Dallas, and he just wants me to give him some scratches. So that's what I'm doing.
So if you hear click clap, that's him.
That's okay. But anyway, we had a St. Patrick's Day party and then COVID. So then it was so maybe we'll start getting back into it. Well, I'll have my husband make pizza for everyone.
You have the perfect street for block parties.
Yeah, too. We should do that.
Would be so fun.
And they would all be down. They love it. They love our Pride Progress flag too. That's how you know they're good neighbors.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But if they still talk to you with a Pride Progress flag, that's how you know they're good. But anyway, so what happens? I think Goldie gets sick, right?
Yeah. So
we should talk about the neighbors.
Yeah. So the neighbors realize they are not smelling those delicious smells they smell on Saturday, and they're having an off day because of it, because they're so used to that comfort of smelling it. So everything's going awry for them, and they're like, "What is going on?" And finally, one of the families, which is the Omar family, their little girl runs up to check on Miss Goldie, and it turns out she's not feeling well, and so she was sick on Friday, and she didn't have time to make to put everything on the pot for Cholent. So I think she runs down, and like the news spreads that she's not feeling good, and there's no Cholent, and so.
Then they all just start to bring stuff, right?
Yeah, they all decided to bring stuff.
So I just love how the book even describes like each neighbor. So there's Tommy. I can't read Jennifer's handwriting.
I left an M off.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Tommy Santiago, and he's a tuba player, which I think is fun. And they show pictures of him playing his tuba. And so he brings rice and beans.
Yes.
And then there's Senora
Belagali.
Belagali? I don't know how. Sorry, forgive us. But when she was reading the book, it sounded like she said Belagali.
Oh, you might be right.
But I think it's spelled in a way that's you're not sure what the pronunciation is. But she brings tomato pizza, and then Mr. Moon brings his Korean barley tea, right? And I just like how Mr. Moon is writing a romance novel in this book.
A romance novel.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like the type either. If you see his pictures in the book.
Yeah, he's just cooking away right in his romance novel. And then, like we said, the Omar family brings curry potatoes.
Yes.
Cool.
And so the whole thing is Cholent has beans in it, tomato, barley, and potatoes. So like that's the main ingredients of the dish.
But so just separate.
Right.
Yeah.
So they each brought something from their own, culture that has an ingredient from Cholent and kind of made it happen. So it's really cute.
Yeah. And then she said, she says, or what do they say? They say, sorry, Dallas. Dallas just wants a hug. They say like, oh, sorry, this isn't like real Cholent.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it tastes like, or it smells like Shabbat to me or something like that. Feels. She says feels.
Feels, okay.
Yeah. Feels like Shabbat to me. So, and it was just like, just a really heartwarming story of neighbors coming together and helping each other. They were worried about Goldie and they went to check on her. And when they found out she needed help, they all, work together to bring, meaningful recipes from their own culture.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful to see different cultures getting along. I mean, obviously getting along, but, having that community.
More than just getting along, like having relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like a family.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she didn't have family there. So that was,
exactly.
who she spent her Shabbat with.
Yeah.
It's just really nice.
So, yeah, I mean, rent the book for yourself and try and figure out why Duval County Public Schools, I'm sure, I don't want to put the blame on Duval County Public Schools. It's because of all the legislation and so many districts around the state are trying to, protect themselves from lawsuits or from, I don't know, anything, just from being on the radar. They don't want to be on the radar. They just want to teach and they want to make sure their teachers are, have what they need and can teach their students. But like it's resulting in things like pulling hundreds of books.
Censorship.
Yeah.
They are self-censoring to stay out of trouble.
And I'm sure that's what their legal advisors are telling them to do. And so, so this is not, against Duval County Public Schools, but at some point we are going to have to start fighting back.
Yeah.
Because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we can't. And, I think it's because people were fighting back and were like, hey, why are these...
This is ridiculous.
That they came back. Otherwise, they might have just never made it back on the shelf.
And we're going to put all these resources in our show notes so that you can read them for yourselves and you can look at the list of 179 books.
Yes.
And then 22 of those were flagged as like really bad because they had to deal with what they dealt with LGBTQ, right?
And racism.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're really happy to bring this book to you on such a special day.
Today starts National Library Week, and Unite Against Book Bans has left today as Right to Read Day.
Oh,
so
nice.
It has a call to action. Things that we could do is check out and read a challenge book. Make a plan to attend your library and school board meetings.
Which you do. You do a great job of attending school board meetings, which, I mean, all power to you. But it's really important to attend those school board meetings, yeah.
Because otherwise you'll have people saying that your voice doesn't matter. So the more people show up, the better. The other thing is you can write a letter. Submit a letter to the editor of the local newspaper or to your elected officials.
Well, yeah, those are some really good action items, for sure.
And it definitely, like I said, you can check out Chik Chak Shabbat, which is also considered a banned book because it was put out
15
taken off the
months.
shelf. Yeah, that's
over
long
a
time.
year to be out of circulation. That's like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully this book, gets some popularity too. And, but is like, seriously, go out and just buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
it's not
like,
that much.
It's like $6. I think,
Yeah.
on Amazon.
Yeah. And just buy it for the recipe at the very least.
Just for the recipe.
So yeah, we're super excited to be able to read this book on National Right to Read Day.
Yes.
And that's all week American Library Association is doing something, and Monday is just National Right to Read Day.
I'm not sure if they're doing something all week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they are because they're going to celebrate, National Library Week.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Support your librarians, support your
Yeah.
school librarians and media specialists.
Go see their super cool displays that they work so hard on. I know our children's library, always has such an awesome display in the children's.
They do a great job.
Yeah. But yeah, aren't they also going to release the 2022 list of top 10 banned books?
So the American Library Association is going to release the top 10 most challenged books of 2022.
Most challenged
today.
books.
So it should be out.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, go look
So
for that.
so check out that list, buy all the books, because we'll probably cover it on our podcast.
Yeah, probably.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for listening. And remember, they can't take books away from you if
You've already read it.